Hey, what's up? Odds are you've probably heard of the term purpose, specifically in relation to a person. Like, what is your purpose? You may have asked yourself that question. And it's a very interesting topic that has especially been brought up in the self-improvement space on YouTube, which I could go into a whole video just talking about the self-improvement space because that's something that I used to really be a part of until like this year, I would say, actually. And today I just want to talk about purpose. What does that mean? How do you find your purpose? How do you fulfill your purpose? How do you live your life around that purpose? So let's dive into that. All right, let's start this off by talking about what is purpose and how do you find it exactly. For that, I have a quote that I found from the Bible. Psalms 57:2. I cry out to the God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. The way I like to think about this is if you're struggling to feel like you have your purpose figured out in your life, you're struggling to find your purpose, maybe consider looking to God. You know, maybe you're not a religious person and you're gonna be like, oh, just another person talking about going to God and searching through him. And it's like, yeah, I get why that can be a little frustrating if you're someone who doesn't believe in God. But, I mean, after all, it is your God-given purpose. See what I did there?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, moving on. In all seriousness, there are some like practical things you can do to really help with trying to figure out what you feel like your purpose is to do. I will say, it is pretty interesting to really think about the idea of purpose because of the fact that it's like, okay, you kind of have to accept the fact that you have a reason for being here. And it's something that I really didn't think too much about before, and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, well, the reason I'm here is not just because, you know, random chance. At least I'd like to believe that's not what it is. And I believe that every single person has a purpose for being here on the earth that they need to figure out in their own way and maybe at their own time. Honestly, I don't have all the answers to this because it's a very complex topic, but in order to maybe help find and figure out what your purpose may be, maybe think about different things that you can do. There's different parts of your life that may be struggling, okay? Say you're struggling in one aspect with like school or work or something like that. If you first are able to kind of like fulfill the struggle, like deal with that struggle that you may be having with whatever it is in your life, that could lead you to being able to really discover what your purpose is. A big issue I had was just focusing on the wrong things and distracting myself instead of actually focusing on the important things. So as soon as I took those distractions away, I was able to really start thinking and evaluating and really figuring out, okay, this is something that I want to be able to do. And really be like, okay, I'm sitting here sitting in boredom. If you're just able to just sit in boredom, sit in the silence, and really just let what comes to you come to you freely without trying to distract yourself, I feel like that is probably the best piece of advice I can give, and that has helped me. Another way that you may be helped in terms of finding your purpose is really just thinking about what is it that you enjoy to do. What kind of things are you good at? What things may be challenging but are well worth it. You see, purpose is also something that changes over time, I feel. It may start off as one thing and evolve into another, and change as you change. It's not necessarily like, okay, this is like your one thing for life. At least I don't think that's necessarily it. I think it evolves and changes as you improve and become a different person over time. You see, I believe my purpose right now is to create and share and just impact people's lives through YouTube and by creating experiences through games. And that is something that I've currently been working a lot on, you know, with these videos and game development. And is that 100% it? I'm not sure, but it's at least pushing me into a direction of something. And I feel like, especially with these YouTube videos, I'm able to have a positive impact on people, have people think a little bit differently about things, maybe have people be open to the idea of God if that's not something that they believe in. And, you know, even if you don't believe in God, at least maybe get some people, maybe like yourself, to just go and learn more about the Bible and the different things inside of it. Because honestly, even before I became religious, I wish I like studied the Bible, because there's just so much good advice and wisdom in it that you can use and take to make your life so much better. That's why I have Bible verses that I quote in these videos now. You see, the one I quoted earlier, Psalms 57:2, I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. He has a purpose for you. That's what I believe. And it's something that it's like, okay, knowing that there's something bigger than myself that I can work towards, and for something that's greater than myself, is just, it's really interesting to think about, and something I really enjoy to think about. But let's say now that you have your purpose figured out, or at least some idea of what you could be working towards. Well, now you gotta realize that you gotta prioritize your purpose above all else. That's the whole point of me making this video, because once you have that idea of what you need to be working towards and striving towards, and the reasoning behind that, that should be the number one priority in your life. This is just what I personally believe, and think if you lived your life in this way, your life could get a lot better. There's this book that has this whole chapter that really gets you to think, I will say. And the book is The Way of the Superior Man. You don't have to believe this book. You don't have to take it as the gospel, because that's what the Bible's for. But there is this quote that I think is really important, especially with this topic. It's in chapter 7 of the book, which is, your purpose must come before your relationship. And it was kind of the entire inspiration for this video. You see, the book says, time you spend with your woman should be time you really want to be with her more than anything else. If you'd rather be doing something else, she'll feel it. Both of you will be dissatisfied. This is something that I've struggled with in the past, and now something I'm also struggling with because I'm in a relationship as of recently. And it's very easy to just lose sight of the thing that you believe to be your purpose. The meaningful work that you have, that you focus on, can easily start to slip away once you get into a relationship. It's really easy to just spend like as much time as possible with the person that you're in a relationship with, that you really like to spend time with. But it's really important that you don't spend too much time with that person. While yes, it's great having a relationship and being with someone that you truly care about, it is important that you don't spend too much time with them. And this is something, like I was saying, I struggle with quite a bit, because when you like someone, you want to be around them. One thing I found is, especially for me, I get the best work done in the mornings. And lately, I have been a bit more distracted in the mornings because of my relationship. Not that there's anything against her. This is all on me. I want to make that very clear. You see, I've been more distracted. I've been texting her a lot more. I've just not been fully focused on what I believe is more of my purpose, the meaningful work that I like to get done for a reason that's higher and greater than myself. But you see, while it's great talking with her and spending time with her, we've been spending way too much time together as of recently, which, I mean, it makes sense. We've just been getting to know each other and stuff, but my goodness, learn from me. You don't want to overdo it. This is something that I had a big mistake. I made this big mistake in the past, and it's something that I don't want to make as a mistake now. Because like the passage says, time you spend with your woman should be time you really want to be with her more than anything else, which is very crucial. But the next part is even more crucial. If you'd rather be doing something else, she'll feel it. Both of you will be dissatisfied. That's the thing. If you are thinking about, wow, I wish I was kind of like working on this other thing or doing something else right now, well, you may not be realizing that you're potentially hurting the person you care about. It is something to really take into account. That's like, wow, as a man, the presence that you can provide in a relationship is something that is so greatly important. And if you're taken aback because you're thinking about the things that you want to be working on and your goals and your ambitions and that type of thing, you're doing not only a disservice to yourself, but also to the person that you're in a relationship with. And that's why it's just so important to not spend so much time with the person that you're in a relationship with, and why you should focus on your purpose and prioritize it over everything else. I mean, as long as you're like not hurting anybody, be careful what you think your purpose is. It shouldn't be like bad, okay? But I think that is a very important thing to be bringing up. And if you find yourself in a relationship, getting into a relationship soon, or you are in a relationship, maybe take a step back and just realize, okay, first, remember that time apart makes the time that you do spend that much better, because you give each other time to miss each other, which is very important. But then also, you also be more present, because you're able to work on the things that you really care about, that you believe are your purpose. And it's so important that you don't spend too much time with the person you're in a relationship with. Yes, spend time with them. I'm not saying don't ever spend time or anything. I'm just saying be careful about how much time you spend, because it could lead poorly, especially over time. To end off this video, I want to say another Bible verse, because honestly, the whole idea of a purpose is a spiritual idea as it is. And if you're someone who believes in the fact that you have a purpose here, but you don't believe in a God, believe whatever you want, but maybe just think about, what does it mean for you to have a purpose? What does that really mean to you? Where does this purpose come from? Just something to think about. You see, there's this verse in Ephesians 2:10, I believe I'm saying that right, which is, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them." I won't lie, it's a little confusing. It took me a minute to be like, what is this saying exactly? But I'm going to just say my interpretation here. We are the workers of God. We are following in the footsteps that he's laid out for us, through the purpose. And so we are his workers, with each of us having an individual purpose that we've got to follow in order to live a meaningful life. If you want to live a meaningful life, I truly believe that you need to have that purpose in your life. And where does that purpose come from? Before, I would just be like, well, I don't know, because I never did any research about it or really looked into what does it even mean to have a purpose. But now that I've become a Christian, I believe that the purpose that we have comes from God. And whether you believe that or not, it's up to you. But I still think if you can find the thing that really brings that purpose into your life becomes truly so much better. Something that maybe you can't even fathom. With that being said, remember that each of us has an individual purpose that we must follow in order to live a meaningful life. And that purpose must be prioritized above all else, even your relationships with the people that you care about, which I could dive into more because there's more chapters talking about this type of thing. But if you believe that what this book is saying is true, and what that I'm saying is true, then really think about what the best thing for you is. Is it better to prioritize a relationship? Would the person that you're in a relationship with even want you to put them first? Really think about that. The person that you're in a relationship with probably would prefer that you have something greater than them that you're focusing on, and that they aren't the top of your life. And I think that thing that you should be focusing on is your purpose, and also personally, I think God too, because God is the reason we have purpose. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed, subscribe, like, all that great stuff. It's all greatly appreciated. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.